Although there have been some other drafts recently that have produced more star players than this one, the 2017 NHL entry draft had some absolute studs that went near the top. Cale Makar is the guy that I think most would agree is and will be the best player to come out of this class, but we also saw guys like Elias Pettersson and Nico Hischier go near or at the top. And then gems like Nick Suzuki and Robert Thomas get selected later on in the first round. There was one player, however, that most teams, if given the chance to redo any of their picks in the first or early second round, would likely go back and select in a heartbeat, and that is the current Dallas Stars forward Jason Robertson, who was taken in the second round, 39th overall in that draft. Since making his NHL debut in 2020, Robertson has gotten better and better as each season has gone by, finishing as the runner-up for Calder Trophy in his first year, and scoring 41 goals and 79 points in 74 games in year 2. And now starting off the 2022-23 season as hot as anyone, currently with a ridiculous 23 goals and 41 points in 25 games. Good enough for third in points league-wide and leading the Rocket Richard race over Connor McDavid. Although he's played in far less games compared to some of the players that were drafted ahead of him in 2017, Jason Robertson currently has the highest points per game average of anyone taken that year. And at the moment, he and Cale Makar are the only two players taken in 2017 that have a career points per game over 1. Jason Robertson is clearly one of the best players to come out of the 2017 NHL draft. He also had an impressive career playing junior hockey in the Ontario Hockey League. So why were 38 players drafted ahead of him just a few years ago? Heading into the 2017 draft, the consensus was that it would either be Nico Hischier or Nolan Patrick who would be taken first overall. The Devils would choose to take Swiss center Nico Hischier, who has developed into an excellent two-way center at the NHL level, and unfortunately the Flyers took Nolan Patrick, who had a decent start to his NHL career but has had some tough injuries and concussions that have caused him to miss lots of time and could end up forcing him into early retirement, which has been really sad to see. The next 3 picks are all now stars in the NHL. Dallas would pick defenseman Miro Heiskanen 3rd, Colorado got phenom Cale Makar at number 4, and Vancouver took offensive weapon Elias Pettersson with the 5th pick. There were some other great players taken later in the first round, like Nick Suzuki at 13, Josh Norris and Robert Thomas at 19 and 20, and Jake Ottinger at 26. Man, did Dallas clean up in this draft. But for some reason, one name that some scouts thought would surely go in the first round was still available after night 1, and one team was able to take advantage. Looking back, Jason Robertson had a very impressive draft-eligible season. Playing with the Kingston Frontenacs of the OHL, J-Rob would score 42 goals and 81 points in 68 games. And he would also produce another 18 points in just 11 playoff games. Scout Steve Kornianos of the Draft Analyst said before the draft that, quote, "If skating wasn't such a big deal, Robertson might have been a lock for the top 5. Another scout, Peter Harling from Dauber Prospects, called Robertson, quote, "an underrated prospect all year," and also said, quote, "his performance should secure him a first-round selection in Chicago this June." Some of the knocks on his game, as pointed out by future considerations, were, quote, "deficiencies in his skating that will need correcting moving forward," and that he, quote, "had limited levels of speed and agility in his stride." The Dallas organization chose to look past some of these deficiencies and focus more on what Robertson does well, which is obviously score goals, play a complete game, and use his phenomenal hockey IQ to help his team win games. After getting drafted, J-Rob would play 2 more seasons in the OHL, continuing to light it up. He would then spend a full season in the American Hockey League with the Texas Stars and had an excellent first pro season, leading the team in both goals and points with 25 goals and 47 points in his 60 games played. The next year, he would get his big shot in the NHL, playing in 51 games for Dallas and playing extremely well, putting up 17 goals and 45 points in those games, good enough for second among all rookies in points, behind only Kirill Kaprizov. And while some players have sophomore slumps, Jason Robertson did the complete opposite and scored 41 goals and 79 points in 74 games in the 21-22 season. He would lead Dallas in goals and finish second in points, only to line mate Joe Pavelski. Still at just 23 years old, Robertson is becoming a legitimate superstar in the National Hockey League and making NHL GMs look extremely foolish for passing on him and letting him slip out of the first round. He is at nearly a goal per game pace through the quarter point of the season and is giving Connor McDavid a run for his money in the Hart Trophy conversation as well. Robertson is proving that you don't need to be one of the fastest if you're one of the smartest and one of the best finishers in the world. This guy has a fantastic shot, is able to score in so many different ways, is a part of arguably the best line in hockey right now, with Roope Hintz and Joe Pavelski. And if he can continue doing what he's been doing so far this season, he could help make the Dallas Stars legitimate contenders this season.